Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar entitled Beyond Tourism: How Travel and Cultural Immersion Builds Real-World Skills for Teens, sponsored by Teen Life and Travel for Teens. My name is Lonnie Burrell, and I will serve as your moderator for this evening. To orient everyone with the webinar timing, we are first going to begin with our live presentation, and then we'll have the opportunity to answer your questions through a live Q&A. At any time, if you are having difficulties hearing the presentation, anything's going on, feel free to message me, Teen Life Host, and I will be able to support you. With that said, Maggie, I'm going to turn it over to you to go ahead and introduce yourself. And while you're introducing yourself, I'm going to go ahead and get the presentation up. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay. So, Maggie,
Thank
I
you.
will turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Maggie. I have been with Travel for Teens for 10 years, and I'm currently based in Atlanta. So, Travel for Teens is based in Philadelphia. We actually have staff all over the states and all over the world, which is really fun. And I'm really excited to share today.
All right.
Yeah, Lonnie is going to share the screen. Perfect.
Yes. Okay. So,
Thank you
would you like me
so
to go
much.
to your next slide, Maggie?
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay. Here we
All
go.
right, so we're going to talk about obviously, we've said teens a lot, teen life, travel for teens. It's all about teenagers here. A lot of teenagers are either going into high school, going into college. They're in a very new stage of life, and it's really fun. It's such a chance for them to gain a lot of skills. They're growing, they're developing. So, we're going to talk specifically about their path to growth. Um, Over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk a lot about something that I think is genuinely underappreciated, and that is what immersive travel actually does for a teenager. So it's not just a fun experience, but it's one of the best ways for them to build the kind of real world skills and confidence that stays with them. I have led over 20 trips with Travel for Teens, been all over the world, and it's so fun watching these kids from the beginning of the trip and then throughout the experience. They're gaining confidence, they're gaining independence, they gain travel skills, life skills, and a lot of times they come back a completely different person. We have parents contact us all the time saying, "My kid is different in the most positive way. They're kinder, they know more about the world, they feel more confident in decision making." So by the time that we get to the question and answers, hopefully you'll have a specific picture about what some of those skills look like and how travel helps build them. So, Lonnie, let's go ahead and get started. The path to personal growth. Most families, I'd say, don't think of travel as a tool necessarily for building real world skills. It usually gets filed under vacation or fun experience, and it's evaluated separately than camps, programs, and enrichment activities that they do daily. And I understand that completely. It makes perfect sense. But it's also why immersive travel ends up being one of the most underutilized opportunities available to teenagers today. So we're going to reframe that. When travel is designed intentionally, it produces real, measurable growth in independence, adaptability, and cultural awareness that it's hard to replace and hard to replicate through other summer experiences. Over the next several slides, we're going to break down exactly what that growth looks like and how travel helps produce it. So, Lonnie, do you want to go to the next slide? Thank you. Tourism versus immersion. There is a real difference. And I think everyone on this, hopefully, everyone on this trip has been able to travel in their life. They've done different types of travel. They've taken vacations. They've done more types of like city traveling. It's all different, but immersion is one of the most important. So I do want to draw a distinction that is foundational to everything we're going to talk about today. The difference between tourism and immersive travel and what that looks like. So passive tourism really means that your teenager is an observer. They're on a guided tour. They're eating at familiar restaurants like Hard Rock Cafe. They're following a curated itinerary that's been designed to be comfortable. It's predictable. There's nothing wrong. It's fun. It's a really great way to travel, but the opportunity for growth is limited because your teen isn't really being challenged. They're not having to step out of their comfort zone. So immersive travel, it's structured differently. Your teen's a participant. They're engaging with local culture. They work alongside their peers from different backgrounds. They are encountering situations that require them to think and respond in real time. And instead of eating at Americanized chains, they're eating at local restaurants. They're navigating an unfamiliar menu. It sometimes isn't even always in English. Instead of reading a book about a community in like a textbook, they're hearing about its history directly from a local guide. Instead of watching a service project, they're completing it alongside community members. Our Costa Rica trips, the service trips, get amazing reviews every year because we work side by side in the Samara community, and a lot of their members are working with us, helping build playgrounds. We do a lot of painting, gardening. We teach the kids English, play sports with them. It's so fun to be doing it side by side. And when a language barrier does come up, like our teens are they're the ones working on it and they're learning how to overcome that challenge. I would say one of the important takeaways is that the destination is almost always beside the point. What determines the outcome of is like the program design, and that's sort of what makes travel for teens different. How we travel. Thanks, Lonnie. So why? Oh yeah, perfect. Why cultural awareness matters. Um, yeah, we're close. We're almost there. We've gotten there a few times. Why does cultural awareness matter? Oh, wait.
Sorry, I'm trying to go back to it.
No, you're fine. I love flipping through.
To that one. One more.
Um, we're gonna look at this. Oh, perfect. We're gonna look at this from three different angles. So obviously we have college. That's a big one. That's a lot of as a lot of teens at Teen Life. Like you're thinking about college, you're thinking about how to apply to college, what's gonna look good on your application. We have career. Like some of you are starting to work now. Some of you might be getting your first job in college or even after college. But your whole life you're going to have some sort of career, and all of these skills you're learning now will play a role in that. And we also have personal growth. So cultural awareness plays a big part in your life in all of these. But on the college side, admissions officers, especially competitive schools, they're not just counting your AP classes and their test scores. They're looking for evidence of your character. They want to see real world experiences outside the classroom. Immersive travel, it usually gives students specific, authentic material, and you can use that in essays when you're doing interviews. A lot of that stuff it gives you, like, you can't get in the classroom. A classroom cannot replicate that. Admission officers can also tell the difference between a meaningful experience and something that you just are doing to write on a resume. Um, I think no matter what, travel for teens or travel is always amazing. I think that travel for teens, you can learn a lot about different parts of the world and use that in all aspects of your life. So on the career side, it's always been known that cross-cultural communication it ranks consistently at the top of employer skill surveys across all industries. It's very important, no matter what you want to go into. And it's sort of recently been moved from being like a differentiator to being a baseline expectation. Students who build this skill early have a real advantage, and if you learn, um, honestly, how to like use it in your career, it's really helpful. So, finally, on the personal side, I mean, there's numerous things, but you have empathy, intellectual curiosity, the ability to work effectively with people who are different than you. That plays a part every single day in your life. Through all of these real world experiences, you'll be able to carry them forward in a lasting way. Like you're not just going to gain skills on the trip. They become part of how you show up in the real world. So, what does independence actually look like? I do think it's important to focus on independence because it's something that's very easy to talk about and it's harder to define in practice. What independence looks like on a travel for teens program is this. It's within a supervised group setting. So we're in a group setting, you have our staff, it's a supervised group setting, and your teen is responsible for their own schedule, their own belongings, their own daily decisions. They need to set an alarm and they need to wake up in the morning. When they have free time during the day for lunch, they need to figure out what they want to get for lunch, and then they need to go and they can buy their own lunch. Things that they don't necessarily do at home and they don't need to do at home, they're sort of thrown into it, but we have structured guides with them so they have independence. When plans change, and they do always change, travel is just like that. I always tell my travelers if three things go wrong today, that's a great day. And if five things go wrong, we're still on a really good day. So when plans change, your teen works through the situation with their group leaders. They figure out what to do. What are some solutions? Here's the problem. How are we going to overcome it? And when they need help, they'll like I have to identify that and ask for help from an experienced adult on the trip. So I was leading a trip in Switzerland a few years ago, and half the group was on the train. The rest of us were getting on, and it just drove away. So there's 8 of us left, and myself and 7 kids, and the train left without us. And we were standing there, and it was like, okay, what should we do? Like, what's the first step? Obviously, we need to get to the next destination. We all of us worked together. We went and found the train schedule. We figured out which trains were coming next, what platform we needed to get to, how to get the tickets. And the kids did it. Like I was there with them. We were all doing it together, but like the kids really took agency and figured out how to get on the next train. And we made it only 30 minutes behind the other group. And it was great. And they were all so proud of themselves. Um, Most teen environments don't provide this. So school is structured, you're pretty comfortable at home. Like even a lot of extracurriculars have clear rules and predictable patterns. And I think that immersive travel is one of the few places where teenagers have to practice real self management, like consistently over an extended period of time. And they get to do it all within a safe and supported environment. Thanks. Awesome. How immersive travel builds adaptability. So adaptability is I like to think I hope I have it. I like to think I have it, but it's one of those skills that comes up all the time. It comes up in college conversations, in parenting conversations, in school groups, and it is worth knowing exactly what it is. So adaptability is not a personality trait. It's not something that your teen either has or doesn't have. It's a skill, and it's built through practice, a lot of practice. Specifically, it's built through repeated exposure to new and unexpected situations. The reason most environments don't build it is because they're too familiar. You have school, home, sports teams, they've all have established structures and routines, and your kid knows how to navigate them. And they're great. It's wonderful. Like everything builds different skills, but it doesn't necessarily stretch your teen's capacity to handle the unknown. So immersive travel, it introduces new environments and unexpected situations, all within the safety of a supervised group and experienced leadership. What we see consistently on Travel for Teens trips is that students learn to stay engaged and they learn to stay positive, even when things feel uncomfortable. I was on a trip once and we had a 3 hour train delay, and that's not fun. That's not fun at all. But you smile and you do it, and you know you're going to get to go where you need to be. And they learn to adjust when plans change. They're able to like engage openly with people and places, especially outside of their existing frame of reference. And I'm always so proud. The travelers are proud of themselves, but I'm really proud of them when we overcome a task or overcome a challenge, and they get there and you can see them sort of take a sigh and say, "I did that. I did that on my own." And they learn to find their footing in a new place without the support systems that they rely on at home. I think those types of skills are the ones that have real and lasting value. So yeah, the next slide, Lonnie, is how immersive travel builds confidence. Confidence is important, and confidence is also learned over time. I think a lot of people know that the older you get, the more confident you get, and also the more situations that you are in. It always helps. So I think confidence. This is and it's an important thing for parents to know that there is a difference between a teen who's been told that they're capable and a teen who has actually proven it to themselves. And you can tell when a real challenge arises. On a Travel for Teens program, students regularly encounter situations that push them. They might have to work through disagreements with travel peers. They might need to step up when their group needs someone to take initiative. A lot of times they have to keep a positive attitude when things don't go as planned. And every time they come through one of these moments, they build a confidence within themselves. We have parents tell us all the time that this is the most visible change when their teen comes home. Not just that they had a great time, but that they came back more grounded and more willing to take on new challenges. I was talking to a parent yesterday, actually, and her daughter's an alumni. We do have a lot of alumni every summer travel with us again. A lot of kids go alone for the first time, and then the next year they either make a friend they want to come back with or they want to come alone again. But I was talking to a mom, and her daughter went to Hawaii last year. She's in middle school, so she's 14. And the mom said that when she came back, and they were traveling together, the mom and the daughter, she said she was so much more mature in an airport. She had a calm about her. She knew where she was going. She had a confidence, and she was a completely different person than who she had traveled with before the trip. Um, and confidence isn't just for teenagers who are shy or nervous about traveling. Some of our most meaningful growth stories come from students who are already confident and independent before they arrived. And they end up coming home with a deeper sense of who they are and what they're capable of. So, our programs are aimed to meet every teen traveler where they are and push them further. I'll share one other quick story. I had a traveler on my trip who I led, and she was incredibly nervous. The mom called me 24 hours before the trip and was like, I don't know if my daughter is going to make it. Like, she's almost refusing to go to the airport. She's so nervous. And she was coming alone. And most of our kids do, but she just didn't know if she was going to be able to do it. And that she thought she might want to back out. And the daughter ended up coming on the trip. I talked to her, and she ended up coming and getting on the plane. And within the first 24 hours, I watched her make new friends and start to come out of her shell. You could literally see the confidence growing in her every single day. We do a lot of games and icebreakers in the beginning of the trip as well to make sure all the kids are getting along, making new friends, they know everyone's name. And every single day you would watch this girl just get more and more confident and make new friends and have different conversations. And she ended up at the end of the trip as one of the most outgoing and confident independent travelers. And I did talk to her mom after the trip as well. And she said her daughter was a completely new person in the best way possible. And that story is not unique. We see versions of that every single year across all different types of kids. Um, Perfect. Next slide. So, what teens come home with? We can bring together a lot of things we've been talking about because it is useful to see them all at once. Greater emotional intelligence, it's a big one. They've spent a lot of time genuinely engaging with people and places that are different from their own. Teens usually come home with a broader, more grounded sense of empathy, like the kind that comes from actual experiences. They come home with a stronger sense of self. They've usually worked through challenges that they didn't expect. They were in a new environment, and they return with a clearer understanding of who they are and what they're capable of. Real world communication skills is a big one. From navigating group dynamics with new peers, you're engaging with locals. There's across different cultures, languages. They usually build communication skills that they can't necessarily get in a classroom. And we actually do have a few language programs that specialize only in language. We have a France doing French, and then we have Costa Rica and Spain doing Spanish. And those kids are in a classroom with locals the whole entire time, having different conversations, projects, learning how they speak in their dialect. And perspective that lasts. So I think as people travel, the world usually gets bigger and bigger, especially for students who are traveling immersively. And that expanded worldview stays with them long after the trip is over. So those aren't things that we promise on our trips. Those are things that families repeatedly tell us after their kid returns um, about how different they are, how much more confident they are. It's always so much of a compliment when they're praising. They say that they love learning from the leaders. They really enjoyed them, like mentoring them. Everything about the trip is just in a positive viewpoint, and their kid is ready to take on the next school year or college or just whatever next challenge arises in their life. So we can go back to a little bit about travel for teens. So everything we've discussed today, the independence, adaptability, students gaining confidence and cultural awareness, it doesn't happen automatically just because a traveler gets on a plane. It happens because how of our programs are designed, and any program is designed. So travel for teens and how our programs are built, obviously we are focused on teenagers ages 13 to 18. We break our trips down into 7th and 8th grade trips, 9th and 10th, and 11th and 12th. So it's whatever grade you're currently in. Everyone's around the same age. The middle schoolers like traveling with other 13 and 14-year-olds. They don't want to be with an 18-year-old. Our older teens also want to be with people who are rising seniors and going to college. So that really helps the kids get close to their group. Every decision we make, every staff that we hire, all the itineraries we design, they're specifically designed around how teens learn, how they connect, and how they grow. So our trips are usually capped at 16 travelers and 2 staff, or they'll go up to 24 travelers and 3 staff. We love that size because it's enough people to have different conversations. You get to meet everyone, you get to know everyone's name, you're talking to all these different people, but it's small enough that you actually get to know people like You won't be meeting somebody on the last day for the first time. As a staff member, my favorite number is 15 or 16 because you can all sit in a huge circle and like be involved in the same conversation. But our staff also meet one on one with the travelers in the beginning of the trip and in the middle of the trip. And that's a time for them to open up, for them to say what they're excited about, what they're looking forward to, any questions they've had, or any challenges they have on the trip. They can bring that up to us. And it's really great for our staff to get close to the kids as well. So our trip leaders are chosen for two things: their experience working with teenagers, obviously it's a big one, and their knowledge of our destinations. So we always say you can teach anybody how to travel, but you can't teach anybody how to work with teens, which is very true. Most of our staff are teachers, camp counselors, people who have extensive experience working with that age group. And a lot of people have lived abroad, studied abroad. When I found travel for teens, I was actually living in Spain teaching English for the year, and I started leading trips in the summers. And our staff live all over the world. So all of our reservation managers usually live in countries where they're making reservations. We love going to their favorite coffee shops, their favorite restaurants. We love showing our teens what it's like to live somewhere. Like, you're not just going to go visit Greece for 13 days, you're going to go live in Greece for 13 days. Um, and then our programs, we actually started, I can sort of, this is fun. I should have introduced this in the beginning. Travel for Teens started as Paris for Teens 24 years ago. The president was taking her son and his friends to Paris, and we grew from there. So we have been going to France for the longest, but now we go to over 40 countries, 6 continents. We have different trips covering language immersion, community service, adventure, there's cultural experiences. And we've been doing this for, yeah, over 20 years. Every year they get better and better. Um, and it's really fun. I've been very lucky to lead a lot of trips, but it's really fun. A few times I've had the same kids come back on this different trip, and it's really cool to see. Okay, so choosing the right trip for you. So one thing I hear about, I talk to parents all day long, helping their kid pick the best trip, find out what program is great. And parents always say, this all sounds great, but which program is right for my teen? So I'll just briefly walk through four types of programs that we offer. We have a lot of community service trips, especially in Costa Rica, Hawaii, Asia. Those are best for students who want to contribute something real. We work with local organizations, and the focus is always genuine engagement. Um, like in Hawaii, we work with the Maui Ocean Center. We do a lot of sea turtle rescue. In Costa Rica, we work with an organization in Samara, and it's a lot, as I said, it's a lot of side by side working with the community. So we always want to be engaged. Cultural immersion trips, those are really great. All of our trips are cultural immersion, but we have some that really focus on cultural immersion. And those are great for students who want to move beyond the classroom instruction and like go deeper. They don't want just the typical travel experience. They want to engage with other people. They want to listen to history, learn about the daily life. They want to see a city in a way that a classroom can't replicate. Another option would be a language immersion trip. As I mentioned, we have 3 of those, and those are for students who want to actually use the language they're learning in context. They don't just want to sit and build vocabulary, but they want to build fluency. And finally, we have special interest trips. So we have a lot of trips for students who have specific passions. If you are interested in scuba diving, you could go to Fiji or Belize. We have trips focused on scuba diving. If you want photography, we have photography trips, marine biology. We have some outdoor adventure, some like active fun trips. So those are all like more hands-on experiences that connect a student's existing interests to the world around them. So whether your teen is a first-time traveler or has been on trips before and is ready for something more meaningful, there's always a program that's right for them. And we're happy to talk with you more about the different programs. Some travelers like larger groups of 24 kids. Some travelers like smaller groups of 12 to 14. So we're happy to explain more in detail and sort of see what fits for them. I think one of the best things is that 75% of our travelers do come alone. They come as solo travelers, and it's amazing. I had one trip once. There was 24 travelers, 22 came alone, and 2 were with their friends. And they came up to me and they said, "I still like my friend, but I wish I was here alone." And it was funny. They both made a lot of good friends and they had a great time. But you could just see they saw these other people coming on and making their own decisions, and they were like, "That's really cool." If your teen comes knowing anybody, they will leave with friendships that last well beyond the trip. I've had travelers become college roommates. I've had a lot of travelers end up meeting up a few months later and stay friends over the next few years. Some kids like to come travel again together. Um, Perfect. Do you want to go next slide? Why travel for teens? So we will go ahead and wrap this up, this part, by tying it directly back to what we've been talking about today. The real world skills, independence, adaptability, confidence, cultural awareness, they don't happen by accident. They happen because of international program, like the intentional program design. Um, in travel for teens, we manage lodging, we manage flights, meals. Breakfast and dinner are included on every trip. Some trips include lunch, some don't, but we can help with anything. So your teen can focus entirely on the experience. We have smaller groups that encourage genuine, real friendships. They like to collaborate. They'll be like your teen will be known on one of our trips. Our staff know who they are. They know our staff. We notice when somebody might need a little bit of a push or need a little bit of help making friends. We notice when someone needs a little bit of support. Some students are scared of heights, and when we're doing a rope course, they might just need a little bit of help. And our trip leaders are aware of what's happening. You will have all their contact information as well. So you'll have the email, their cell phone number. We have an emergency line you'll have access to. So you'll be able to communicate with the staff on the ground. And also, your kids will have their phones as well. For travel, we want travelers to have a phone for any pictures or emergencies. But we push them not to be on them during activities, meals, like usually during the day, they're not really on their phones. So all of our itineraries are designed around genuine cultural engagement. We want travelers to build real world skills. We don't want them to just go check landmarks off a list. Um, and as always, I think this is with all companies, but safety is our number one priority. We do vet all of our local partners. We have 24/7 emergency support, and there's a lot of pre-departure information and preparation that go into for all of our families. But we'll sort of hold your hand step by step before departure. So I think if we want to go ahead and go to the question and answers.
Yes, we can. Thank you, Maggie. And I'm glad we were able to figure out the thing with the
Yeah.
PDF. Sorry about that.
Oh, it looks great.
But I know that I did receive a few questions in regards to will I be able to get a copy of this presentation? So just to
Yeah.
let you all know that this full presentation will be available through Teen Life's social media page. So on their YouTube page, you will be able to actually see the recording. And so that'll be our way of being able to get out that presentation to you. So just give us about a week or so and you'll be able to view it. Okay. All right. So Maggie, I have a few questions that came in through our registration sign up. So the first question says, how can I make sure I am not just observing a culture, but actually understanding and respecting it?
Great question. So I would say some service trips are probably a good way to start with that. Like especially in Costa Rica. Like most of our staff are Costa Rican. We also have some school teachers from the States who are going to be your staff as well, but most of our staff are Costa Rican and they will introduce you to their culture, tell you about their favorite foods. In Asia, a lot of times we need you to wear scarves or cover your shoulders, and our staff will explain all of that, like why you have to do that, what different countries and religions require different things. So travel, no matter what, is putting you in a new place, but our staff are there to help guide you and teach you everything about that country. A lot of times we do have local guides as well. If we're doing a walking tour in a city, we'll have a local guide who will take us to all their favorite places. So we really want you to feel like you are getting a feel for the city and the country and the culture.
Great. Awesome. Our next question, and it's from one of our audience members. What are the application deadlines? What are the costs of the language program and the length?
Great question. So I will we'll get a list of the questions from Teen Life and I can email you more information as well. The application deadline, when you register, the deposit's $900 and that secures your spot. And then you're on the trip. I will say you can register anytime until a trip sells out. So trips start selling out in February and March. We're at the point now that a lot of trips only have one or two spots left. So if you want to guarantee the trip you want, I would probably look into registering sooner rather than later. But I'm happy to send you the breakdowns for all of the language trips and the prices. They usually start around. We actually have an 8-day French language trip that starts around 2,500, but the Spanish ones usually start around 4,500 to 5,000.
Awesome. All right. And then just a reminder to our live audience, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and place those in the chat and I will make sure that Maggie gets to it. All right.
Yeah, and then yeah, there's and I have some as well. So you keep going, and then I can also add one or two of our popular questions that parents ask.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to go ahead and add that question?
Sure, yeah. A lot of parents ask like, if my teen has never traveled with you, is that okay? More than fine. A lot of our kids come for the first time ever traveling. Most have never traveled without their family before and never traveled alone. And then a lot of parents ask to see an itinerary. So I can send you an itinerary for any trip. It's broken down hour by hour. So it's nice to see the daily schedule. 8 a.m., wake up. And then there's morning activity, lunch, afternoon activity. But for any trip you're interested in, I'm happy to send it to you broken down to see the daily schedule.
Awesome. Okay, yes. And someone just asked that question, where can we see the daily schedule? Someone also asked, can you share the prices per type of trip?
Yeah, so they're all sort of different. Like our shorter trips for 8 days usually start around like 2,500 plus airfare, and then we can go up to 30-day trips, and those are up to 13,000. So it really just depends. I'd say on average our trips are around 5,000 plus airfare for a 13-day trip.
Nice, nice. Okay, I have another question. What does living like a local and immersive travel primarily emphasize?
Oh, great question. So, living like a local for us emphasizes like we want to live like our staff do, our staff who are from there. We want to go to their favorite restaurants. We don't want to just go to Paris and see the Eiffel Tower and check that off our list. We want to go and have the best French onion soup there is. We want to go, we actually have a lot of French staff with us. And so your staff will most likely like show us their favorite things. They'll want to speak French with you. They'll want to make sure you feel like you're living in Paris and not just visiting.
Okay, someone asked, what would be a good option for this summer in terms of a STEAM immersion? So student interested in
Yeah.
science, technology, engineering, arts, math.
Yep. We don't have as many STEM programs. Like we don't have any trips where you would get college credit. Our trips are a lot more about cultural immersion. I know there are some companies that do them on college campuses, and you can get college credit for those. Our trips, we don't have any yet. We don't yet have any STEM options, but we might in the future. Right now, we're like our trips run really smooth. They're really great programs. So we're going to continue doing what we do best and focus on community service and immersion and language.
Great, great. And I know, Maggie, you have emphasized this in your presentation and even throughout your questions, but just want to ask this question again. What experience can you gain as a high school student?
Yeah, so all of our travelers are high school students. We have hundreds of high school students travel with us every summer. And to me, I think one of the most important things that I see kids on my trips gaining is friendship. Like they're gaining good friendships and good community. They go on a trip and they learn how to you obviously have a lot of friends at your home, but you can be who you want to be and you learn how to talk to new people from all different backgrounds. We have travelers from all over the states and all over the world. One trip last year had travelers from 6 different countries on it. So you go and you learn how to talk to other people and learn about their culture, learn about them. And I think that's what I think one of the best things a high schooler can gain.
Great. I know you touched on this towards the end of your presentation. I think it was your last bullet point you had. But someone did want to know, can you tell me about safety precautions during your travel programs?
Yes. So safety is the most important thing. As I said, we've vetted all of our activities, our vendors, our staff. If something comes up, if there's an emergency, we'll take them straight to the hospital. If something comes up, we'll usually always be in contact with the parent. So, for example, last year I had a boy with a bug bite on his leg and it wasn't really shrinking. So we FaceTimed his parents and decided to go to the urgent care and get antibiotics. So anything like that, we'll be in contact with you. We have kids have heat exhaustion. They get too tired. A lot of times you're thrown into a new environment and we're go, go, go. And sometimes they just need a break. But yeah, we'll always take them to the hospital. We be in contact with you the whole entire time. And a lot of times it just, they like some water and like there's pharmacies everywhere. Anything you need, we can get. I had a girl who busted her eardrum swimming in the ocean, just things like that. all of the things that happen, we're there and we'll be in contact with the parents the whole time.
Awesome. Well, Maggie, I think that brought us to our last question of
Okay,
the
I had
webinar.
one more before the
Yeah,
last question.
go
Sorry.
ahead, please share. Yes.
Yes, dietary restrictions and allergies.
Yes.
That's a big question. So, travel for teens can accommodate anyone with any dietary restrictions. The only thing we cannot accommodate is a peanut allergy in Thailand. Like, we won't let you go to Thailand. And last year we had a boy signed up and we felt so bad, but he ended up changing trips. So anything else? We have so many. There's kids with celiac, nut allergies, so with picky eaters. I had a girl in Thailand who didn't eat like rice. She only liked bread. And guess what? She learned to like rice. But we have a lot of picky eaters and we can always accommodate anything. Do breakfast is at the Hotel Continental style. Dinners are at restaurants and they can order what they want, and lunch is sort of a mix. It depends on what we're doing. We might get a picnic and go on a hike, or we might go have an activity and have a restaurant lunch. It just depends.
Great. Awesome. I know that we're on the final slide. Did you want to talk through anything on this final slide? I see your website, your contact us.
Yeah. My email address is maggie@travelforteens.com. So all of that, and I'll add that in there as well. I know there was a question about connecting with parents and families who have gone on the trips before, and yes, I'm happy to connect you with any families who have done trips last year. And you can connect with them and hear about their experience too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Maggie. This was
Thank
really
you.
informative. I enjoyed learning more about travel for teens, and I'm pretty sure our audience did as well. Thank you, everyone, for attending our live webinar with Teen Life. And we look forward to seeing you at an upcoming webinar very soon. Have a great evening,
Thanks
everyone.
so
Bye,
much.
Maggie. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.